Welcome to the Colorado Trial Lawyer Connection, where Colorado trial lawyers share insights from their latest cases. The pursuit of justice starts now. Welcome back, everyone. Keith Fuicelli here for another edition of the Colorado Trial Lawyer Connection podcast. And today we are doing something truly different. We are not having a trial lawyer on to talk about a trial, but we instead are having my dear friend and my personal trainer, Courtney Samuel, on the show to talk to us a little bit about the importance of physical fitness and how to maintain our bodies and our minds when we are truly at war with enemies, both internal and external at times, it feels like in this life. But we all know we have the most stressful job, and obviously keeping our bodies in peak optimal performance is critical to success. So with that introduction, welcome to the show, Courtney Samuel.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. And hopefully drop some jewels on you guys.
I love it. Well, before we kind of dig into fitness and whatnot, tell us a little bit about your story. You own several gyms, Bodies by Perseverance. Mm-hmm. How did you become so immersed in the physical fitness world?
It wasn't, I would say, by luck or just by God. You know, I set off my journey in college as a computer science engineer. I got a degree in computer science engineer, and then found this thing called football, and ended up being pretty decent at it. So ended up leaving school, North Dakota State University is where I attended, left school a semester early to enter the NFL draft, the 2000 NFL draft, and was supposed to be a third or fourth round draft pick as one of the better corners in the nation.
Okay.
So to be it, my NFL dreams didn't come true. Literally tried out for every team in the league. And it just wasn't meant to happen. You know, there's a lot of things that happened within that journey, and it just didn't happen. So I had a degree in computer science and ended up getting a job at Sun Microsystems. And let's just put it this way: I was a square trying to fit into a hole. It just wasn't the right fit. You know, I'm a athletic guy. You know, I know programming, but this wasn't my love and my passion. And so I had to figure that out, and, you know, had a lot of prayers and conversations with God and asked him what my journey was. And he was like, why don't you try being a trainer? And I was like, man, should have done this a lot earlier. It would save myself a lot of stress with school and hard classes. And that day I went and when I got off of work, I went to Better Body and got a job. And I was working as a personal trainer or just trying to learn the business at night while being an engineer during the day.
Okay. So during that whole time you're at Sun, you mm-hmm. are maintaining was your physical fitness still top notch? In other words, once you gave up on the NFL dream, was it easy for you to keep your physical fitness up in top shape, or did you fall off and come back? How'd that play out?
Yeah, you know, it was pretty easy. And that's what I had been training probably since I was 11. I've been in the gym. I was a track athlete, basketball player. So working out was just my normal 9 to 5. And so when I was at Sun, believe it or not, I had just got done with my last NFL tryout, which was with the Denver Broncos, and I had a bad hamstring rupture.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was, and that's when I just knew it was over. I was like, this isn't meant to happen. And so I think I was in a state of depression. Number one, not liking my job and career, although I was getting paid very well, but it just wasn't my passion. And so, man, I ballooned up to the biggest I think I ever been in life. I got to like 260.
Okay.
And I was still working out, but it wasn't good weight. It was more, I was doing a lot of partying, drinking, and I just think it was a form of depression. So that was my biggest. And I had to make a change, or it was going to be a very short life.
I want to touch on something because you mentioned the drinking and partying, and I also happen to know that you have been competing in years recent in bodybuilding. So in my mind, that's sort of professional athlete versus, and what I'm getting at here is I sometimes think of being a trial lawyer as being a professional athlete in a way. In other words, if you want to be in the pros and you want to be the best, your mind, body, everything must be attuned. And I think about that point about the drinking. And I know some of the best trial lawyers in the country, they don't drink at all.
Yep.
And others are able to sort of maintain that in a respectable way. So just speaking from your profession as a bodybuilder, how is that like you cannot drink? How does alcohol play into being a professional when you're getting ready to strip down almost all your clothes and stand in front of people naked? Tell us about that.
Well, I think that goes into every profession of your life, and it depends on how serious you take it. I know trial lawyers that probably aren't that good and ones that are really good. Same thing with bodybuilders and athletes. And I've always been, one of my big models is walk it like you talk it. And if I get out of a car, you should kind of guess of what I do. You say, hey, that guy either is a professional athlete or he's a bodybuilder or he's some type of trainer. Same thing with you, Keith. If I saw you and I'd be like, oh, he looks like a warrior. You should walk it like you talk it. And you can't be at the highest level if you don't treat your mind, body, and soul at the highest level. And so
I love that.
all those things play part. And, it amazes me to this day. I see fat trainers and I don't understand. And I don't understand how you can take your profession serious and you don't take yourself serious. So I think there's a level of respect for that. And that's just how I see it. So
yeah,
those drinking and partying days are long gone. And as a bodybuilder, there's no way. Not if you're winning shows. Everybody does shows, but not everybody wins them.
Yeah. I think that's true. If you on so many different aspects of life, be it a parent, be it trial lawyer, be it professional bodybuilder, it just seems like if you want to be on your A game, some things can stay and some things cannot stay, so to speak.
Yeah.
So talk to one of the things I've been fascinated about as I've gotten older, entering midlife, crossing 50 recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm glad to be here. And the question I've got for you is how important, this is one of those softball rhetorical questions, how important is it as we get older in life to maintain muscle mass? And the harder question, what's the most efficient way to do that?
I mean, it's huge, right? The older we get, everybody knows that term, osteoporosis, and weight training is the biggest way to prevent that. So to keep your muscles strong, to keep you mobile, to keep you moving, it's huge. The biggest test is I tell people to look at their parents, right?
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
We have to see how our parents age. And this has been a real reality check for me because my father's 77 and he isn't aging well. But he didn't do a lot of the things that he should have been doing in his younger years to prevent a lot of the things that's going on with his life right now. So some of us are blessed to have parents that age well, that are still very mobile, still very active. And then you can be on the flip side of that. And, in our case, my dad's in a dementia home.
Man, I'm sorry.
Kidney failure. He has a lot of health issues that could have been, I don't know if they would have been stopped, but they could have been prolonged if he would have changed some of his activities.
Yeah, I think about that. My mom sadly passed, but she was not in very good health, very poor health. And my father is in this like amazing specimen who can shoot his age in golf, and he's out there. And so he is a true inspiration for me on how I want to be when I'm 75, 80, 82. He's out there living life, loving it. And
Yep.
so what help us, let's assume somebody's listening and they want to start a weightlifting regiment
Hmm.
or at least establish some kind of habit or routine. Is there sort of like an easy way to start so we don't, and are there words of caution about going too hard, too fast?
Of
What do
course.
you tell a listener out there that's thinking, you know what, I would like to start lifting weights, but another thing I would like for you to talk about is I'm embarrassed and I'm very afraid of gyms. I feel like
Yep.
I'm going to walk into a gym. I don't know how to put weights on. I'm going to be the guy that like people are making fun of.
Yep.
So help us out for the newbies out there that are looking to improve their strength.
So if you're a newbie, I always say newbies should most most importantly hire a personal trainer. And a
Okay.
good personal trainer is going to progress you accordingly. Meaning, if I know you're fresh out of the water, you're not never been a former athlete, you don't train hard. Let's take baby steps, because if you go too hard too fast, you're going to get hurt, or you're going to get scared, or you're going to be too sore and like, I'm not coming back. So hire a good trainer,
Okay.
a reputable trainer that has you know, a transformation history. The trainer that's been in the business for a while. I think great trainers earn their stripes, and it's nothing that you can just learn from getting a certification and saying I've trained 2 clients, I'm the world's greatest trainer. It's kind of like a master plumber. He has to put his hours in, and ask for his book of transformations, ask for his certifications, and just make sure he slowly progresses you. And the big things motivate you to want to be there. A lot of people aren't motivated to go to the gym because of factors like, oh, I don't know how to work out, I don't want people to look at me, or whatever have you. A trainer should motivate you and inspire you and keep you accountable to come to your sessions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. So is there, talk to me a little bit about calisthenics. I keep seeing these things on my Instagram feeds and
Yeah.
reels about what people can do without weights at home.
Yeah.
You like the idea of kind of like starting with some planks or doing sit-ups? Are there some simple things that people can do at home to start
So
this journey?
there's so much, Keith. This is the great thing. AI, right? You can AI
Yeah.
any workout you want, and it will come
Hmm.
up with, you put you go chat GBT a workout for 48-year-old male, it'll give you
Yeah.
a million of them. And so that's what's
Hmm.
awesome about the technology. I said, guys, you don't really need trainers if you're motivated to do it yourself.
Yeah.
There's a million body weight exercises. You can go outside, walk around a park. As long as you're moving, it's better than sitting at your desk and just being stationary. So, yeah, with technology, there's no reason for you not to work out.
Yeah, I love that. And what I'm hearing is the piece that trainers can help you with, but it still has to come from the individual is the
Mm-hmm.
drive and the motivation. And without that person accepting that I'm going to do the thing I don't want to do
Yep.
because I like the result that it gets, then, then you're on your own.
But that's the best results, doing the things that you don't want to do. And
Yeah.
that's why my biggest I think my biggest component or aspect in life is having a good coach and keeping that accountability factor. And that's what a great trainer does. I tell people the best coach I ever had to this day was Casey Bradley, hands down.
Hmm.
Players coach, great coach, but I would play hurt, injured. If my arm was cut off, I would play hurt for him because I didn't want to let him down.
Hmm.
And that's the relationship I have with a lot of my clients. It's not, I get them out of thinking about themselves and then have them get to that accountability factor of letting me down because
Yeah.
we're working hard. So yeah, find a good
So
coach.
how often? So let's assume somebody's listening and they want to kind of start a solid weightlifting regimen. What does that
Mm-hmm.
look like in terms of how many days a week are we talking? How much time can it be? Is it 10 minutes? Is it 2 hours? And how often per week?
So, and I'll just give you kind of general how we do things. With us, it's a minimum 2 times a week, right? We need to at least get an upper body day and a lower body day in.
Okay.
Workouts should be about 45 minutes to an hour, depending, and that's the strength training. We're not talking about cardio. We're just saying straight strength training.
Okay.
If you do cardio after your session, we could be there another hour and a half, what have you. But that's a good foundation. I would say 2 times a week and just build from there. Most of our clients start off 2 times a week, and then we end up seeing them 4 or 5 times. And, I'm currently at the gym waiting on the client that I'm seeing for the second session of the day. So,
whoa, 2-a-days.
Yeah, man. He's got a stressful life, stressful job, and he's like, Coach, I'm not right unless I see you. So I was like, I'm here for you.
Well, I love that. And I love, talking about stressful life and getting the stress out. I noticed that there's a great big boxing ring at the gym. Is that something that, tell us a little bit about boxing. Is that cardio? Is it strength? And is that something that you offer?
Yes. So, and I'll kind of tell you how we got into boxing. Being a former athlete, I have a lot of ailments, especially my knees, right? My knees, having a blown Achilles. So I can't do what your traditional, if I ran 2 miles, my knees wouldn't handle it. So I had to figure out another way of getting conditioning in. And boxing came to part via a young guy, I should say an older man named Fareed that I met one time at the gym. Great boxing coach. And that's how we started implementing boxing into our facilities. And to me, it's the lost aspect of conditioning. It is one of the hardest workouts you will ever do. It takes minimal time, and there's no impact on your knees. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times, and I truly do hit it in the mitts when you have someone like Fareed, someone that's trained, that knows how to put the mitts in the right spot and then tells you which punches to throw. And then I was hurting on my lats, like there were muscles in my body I didn't know I had that were hurting. It was I like the boxing.
And you let some steam out too, right? Because if you're a little mad or you're upset with somebody, you don't have to go hit them. You can just let it out on the mitts.
I love that. Let me ask you this. Let's say, are you of the belief that we as humans sort of need to be moving our bodies, some sort of intentional exercise on a daily basis? Or is it okay to take, 2 days a week off?
I'm a believer that you need to do something every day. Yeah. My biggest saying is like wine. We have been blessed with great bodies. And I say you can get better with time. The best wine is the one that's been aged the longest. So if you build your body up to handle that workload, you can work out every day. I'm not saying this is for beginners, but somebody that's been as myself, I work out 7 days a week. I kind of take a light stretch day. I'm still in the gym, but it may be some easier exercises, some stretching, some ab work. I just need it, man. It's if my mind's not right if I don't work out.
Yeah, I like that. And is it ideal for someone to do, cardio one day, strength the other day, or is the ideal that you work up where you're doing both on a daily basis?
You can definitely work your way. It will take some time, but I would say in general, depending what your needs are. Some people don't need a lot of cardio. If you're naturally, what we call ectomorph or a skinny person, if you want to do cardio just for your general health, that's fine. You can just go take a walk, or some people just like to run. But if you're a bigger person, like myself, I do cardio every day because if I don't, I can't manage my weight. So that's individual to individual. But I also like to do cardio or just go for a walk to clear my mind because it's my time. It's kind of like a meditation time. There's health factors in that. So, it just goes into, how much wear and tear and how much you can handle. If you're feeling good, then go after it. And if you're not, then listen to your body and take a rest.
Yeah, it's hard because you have that sort of, if I listen to my body, then I might not get off the couch ever. So it's sort of, but you need to push yourself. So it's that yin and yang. I mean, obviously you don't push your body if you're injured or you don't physically feel well, but it's that the space between your ears that I feel like is where the real rubber meets the road, if you will.
I have a term for that too. So it's
What's that?
I don't know if I can cuss. So I don't want to cuss, but
You can cuss. It's just it's fine.
I call it your inner bitch voice. Everybody has an inner bitch voice. Where you're like, I should get up. And I'm like, stop being a bitch.
Yeah, and just get up and do it. Quit your whining. We'll just say, we'll call it more politically correct, and we'll say, stop your whining and get to work. Yeah. Get to work. Yeah. So if someone has, let's say they've got 10 or 15 minutes, maybe they're in a hotel room, they're traveling for work or something. Is there like a quick little body sort of routine that you'd recommend other than jumping online and saying, here's 10 minutes? What do you do? You got 10, 15 minutes.
All the same thing you used to do in elementary school, right? Push-ups and sit-ups. Everybody had a push-up and sit-up. We've been doing that from day one. You had a push-up contest and sit-up contest. If that's two things you can do in your hotel room, push-up. Well, you can also do dips and body-weighted squats. So easy, simple. Just get the blood flowing.
Okay. What about jumping jacks?
Jumping jacks. Walk around the halls. Push-up, sit-ups, jumping jacks. Something to get your heart rate up.
All right. I like it. Now, talk to us a little bit about what your gym offers and where you're located, and talk to us a little bit about what I like about working with you is as the listeners can probably tell, like I need someone to tell me what to do. So I need like one-on-one sessions, because if I go to the gym, I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to, maybe do some of this and do some of that, and I'm probably doing it wrong. So where are your locations and what do you offer people?
So Bodies by Perseverance. Right now, we currently have 2 locations. Location on 30th and Downey. That's our main headquarters. It's about 10,000 square foot facility, boxing, basketball court. And then we just opened up in Cherry Creek North on 3rd and Clayton. And this is a personal training studio. It's only about 1,000 square feet. So it's mainly for one-on-one. There's no classes done here. We're not an open gym. So if you're seeing us, you're with one-on-one personal trainer, or you're doing a class, or you're doing boxing. So those are our 3 entities: group training, personal training, and boxing. Okay. And they're all under eye by a coach, by a trainer, or by a boxing coach.
And so if someone wants to take the step and make this happen, how do they get in touch with you?
Set up a consultation. We'll come in. A good thing I always like to set up consultations because you need to feel people's energy. There's a million trainers out there. I want them to see the guy they're going to work with, feel his energy. You work with Fabian a lot. That guy has crazy energy. Yeah. From a German, and when his accent gets to kicking in, it just makes it all the great. And some trainers don't. And so we want to make sure that we're a good fit for you, because there are a lot of options out there. And just kind of tell you about our philosophy and make sure we're just the right fit. So just set up a consultation. We'll come in, spin the wheels, and give you a tour of the facility.
Great. Is there a website, phone number? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
At MyBBP, MYBBP. So BillPaul.com. That's our Instagram. That's our website. It's everywhere. So MYBBP.
Got it. So MYB, which is Bodies by Perseverance.
By Perseverance, correct.
Tell us about that name, Perseverance. I love that because to me, it's about doing what you need to do when you don't want to do it. How'd you come up with that name?
Man, perseverance is, my dad used to always tell me about being persistent and having perseverance. And I didn't really know what that means until my football journey. And, when you try out for 32 teams, you have to have some perseverance when you keep getting told no. You're not the right fit. You're not fast enough. You're not strong enough. So it was perseverance that kept me like, you know what, that's right. I'm going back to the gym and I'm waiting on my next call. That, along with being very persistent and reaching out to these guys and these teams, and it was just the right fit. And when I was thinking about, when in our world, when we were coming up as trainers, it was always like Body by Mike or Body by, that was the normal training name. And it's not about me. It's about perseverance. And so that's why I said body, fight, perseverance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. And I cannot recommend to our listeners enough Courtney and his team, and really wherever you get it, go get it, because it really is use it or lose it. And, I'm at this age now where I'm seeing a lot of parents getting older. And it's like, what is that last 10 years of our lives going to look like? And I feel like the decisions that we're making today and what we're doing every day is going to dictate that last decade of life, which can either be magical or miserable. Some things, of course, are out of our control.
Right.
But if we're fortunate enough to be on this planet at 80, 85, 90, I want to be glad that I'm here at 80, 85, 90. And I feel like that's just one of the reasons. And for me, too, it's just cognitive clarity of it's so important. So I just want to thank you and your entire team for all that you do. And thank you for coming on the show.
Man, we're here to offer a great service, so I appreciate that, Keith. Thank you for having us, and continue persevering. And
I will.
We're going to be here for
you
when you're 100, so you can be out there shooting with your dad.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll catch you all next time on the Colorado Trial Lawyer Connection, where we will probably have a trial lawyer, or maybe not. Who knows? We'll see what the next episode brings. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you've gained valuable insights and inspiration from today's Courtroom Warriors. And thank you for being in the arena. Make sure to subscribe and join us next time as we continue to dissect real cases and learn from Colorado's top trial lawyers. Our mission is to empower our legal community, helping us to become better trial lawyers to effectively represent our clients. Keep your connection to Colorado's best trial lawyers alive at www.thectlc.com.